You wake up, you roll over, grab your phone, and tap the little sun icon. You've got a 10-day forecast, an hourly breakdown, and real-time radar at your fingertips. We have supercomputers in our pockets pulling atmospheric data from satellites just to tell us if we should bring a jacket. We feel so secure in this technology, this feeling of mastery over the elements. We think we're the first people in history to know, with any certainty, what the sky is going to do next. But what if I told you that's just not true? What if I told you that for thousands of years, ancient cultures had a weather prediction system that was, in its own way, just as accurate? A system that didn't need satellites or radar. A system that used nothing but the world around them, the trees, the stars, the animals, and a depth of observation that we've almost completely forgotten. This isn't just history. This is living knowledge. These aren't just quaint folk tales. They are sophisticated, time-tested techniques for survival, passed down through countless generations. And in a world of increasing climate uncertainty, where our modern systems are being pushed to their limits, this ancient wisdom is more relevant than ever. In this video, we're pulling back the curtain on 5 of these shockingly accurate indigenous weather hacks from across the globe that you can still use today. We're going to show you how to read the world like an open book, just as our ancestors did. And what you learn might just change how you look at the world outside your window forever. So stick around, because you're about to learn the secrets hidden in plain sight. The living barometer. Reading animal and plant behavior. All right, let's start with our first hack, and it's one you may have brushed up against without even realizing it. The art of reading the living world. This isn't about a groundhog seeing its shadow. This is a deeply nuanced understanding of ecology, practiced by indigenous peoples from the deserts of Australia to the rainforests of the Philippines. Think about it like this. Every living creature is in a constant conversation with its environment. They're far more sensitive to subtle shifts in atmospheric pressure, humidity, and temperature than we are. Their survival depends on it. For thousands of years, indigenous cultures simply learned to eavesdrop. Let's go to Australia, a continent of extreme weather, where Aboriginal peoples have lived for at least 50,000 years. Their knowledge isn't written in books. It's woven into the fabric of their culture and passed down through generations. They see nature as a living, breathing entity, constantly sending out signals. For example, in many Aboriginal cultures, watching ants is a key forecasting tool. If ants are building their nest mounds higher than usual with steeper walls, it's a strong sign that heavy rains are coming. The logic is simple and elegant. The ants are protecting their colony from a flood. It's a tiny civil engineering project warning of a coming deluge. Have you ever stopped to actually watch an anthill? What might it be telling you? But it doesn't stop there. The Yolngu people in northern Australia predict the monsoon by watching the migration of certain birds or the flowering of specific plants. The arrival of plovers in the Simpson Desert has long signaled the start of seasonal rains, and the sight of black cockatoos often means a wet season is just ahead. Some lore even suggests the number of cockatoos you see corresponds to the number of rainy days to come. This skill isn't unique to Australia. In the Philippines, local farmers and fishers see the frantic activity of insects or a sudden chorus of frogs as reliable signs of rain. In parts of Africa, pastoralist communities know that their livestock's behavior can signal a change in the weather long before the clouds gather. So, what's the science? It's not magic. It's biology. Many animals, especially birds and insects, are incredibly sensitive to drops in barometric pressure that happen before a storm. This drop can affect a bird's inner ear, making them uncomfortable so they might fly lower or feed frantically to build up energy. Plants are in on it too. A pine cone's scales open in dry weather to release seeds, but when humidity rises before rain, the scales absorb the moisture and clamp shut. It's a natural hygrometer. This knowledge is so reliable that in 2007, the Australian Bureau of Meteorology began working with Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander communities. The Indigenous Weather Knowledge Project created an online database to share this wisdom, proving these techniques are vital tools for the future. The next time you're outside, try it. Pause and observe. Are the birds flying low? Are the ants fortifying their homes? The world is giving you a forecast. You just have to learn the language, the celestial clock, astronomical observations. Now, let's lift our gaze from the earth to the heavens. For our second hack, we're exploring the ancient art of astronomical weather forecasting. Long before telescopes, cultures across the globe knew the sky wasn't just a pretty backdrop, but a vast, intricate clock that could predict the turning of seasons, the arrival of rains, and the onset of droughts. This is where things get really sophisticated, particularly in East and Southern Africa, where seasonal accuracy is a matter of life and death. Let's travel to the borderlands of Ethiopia and Kenya, home to the Borana Oromo people. The Borana have a calendar system so complex it's breathtaking. Discovered by researchers in the 1970s, it's thought to have been developed around 300 BC. Unlike our solar Gregorian calendar, the Borana calendar is a lunar stellar system. It masterfully weaves together the moon's monthly cycle with the position of 7 specific stars or constellations. A Borana year is 12 months long, but the start of each month is determined by when the new moon appears in conjunction with a specific star. The new year, for instance, begins when the new moon rises alongside the star triangulum. The next month starts when the new moon aligns with the Pleiades, and so on. Specialized timekeepers, the Ayantu, make these crucial observations and declare the start of each new month. Imagine the sustained, multi-generational focus required to maintain a system like that. But this isn't just about marking time, it's about predicting the future. This celestial clock tells the Borana about the timing and intensity of the 2 crucial rainy seasons. This knowledge dictates every major decision: when to move herds, when to expect rivers to swell, and when to prepare for dry spells. Studies have shown this forecast is remarkably accurate, aligning closely with what actually happens, and the Borana aren't alone. In Uganda, the Karamoja people use the stars and moon to predict weather. Even a piece of weather lore many of us know, a halo around the sun or moon predicting a storm, is a form of this. That halo is caused by ice crystals in high-altitude cirrus clouds, often the first sign of an approaching weather front. This knowledge is now gaining renewed respect. In Ethiopia, Borana forecasters and modern meteorologists hold joint meetings, sharing predictions, one based on satellite data, the other on millennia of watching the sky. By blending these two systems, they create forecasts that are not only more accurate but also more trusted by the local communities who depend on them. So, the next time you look at the moon, remember you're seeing a gear in a massive cosmic clock that can tell you about the future of the weather right here on Earth. Hey, just a quick interruption. If you're finding this as fascinating as we do and want more content that explores the hidden wisdom of ancient cultures, do us a huge favor and hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel grow. And while you're at it, tap the bell icon so you never miss an update. We have so many more secrets to uncover together. Okay, back to the hacks. This next one is one of the most surprising forecasting methods you will ever hear about. The internal forecast, divination by entrails. All right, prepare yourself, because this next method is likely the most startling on our list. It takes us into the traditions of pastoralist communities in Kenya and shows a relationship with the natural world that is profoundly different from our own. We're talking about forecasting that looks not to the sky or the trees, but inward, specifically into the intestines of a slaughtered animal. This practice, a form of divination, is used by groups like the Ilchamus, Pokot, and Tugen people in Kenya. For these communities, life is governed by water and pasture for their livestock. Knowing when the rains will fall is their core survival strategy. The process is both ritualistic and deeply analytical. An elder, a respected traditional forecaster, will carefully slaughter a goat. The purpose isn't just for meat, but for the information inside the animal's body. The forecaster meticulously examines the intestines and stomach contents, looking for specific signs codified over generations. What exactly are they looking for? They observe the color and thickness of the blood vessels on the intestinal walls. Thick, prominent vessels are a sign of heavy rains to come, symbolizing swollen rivers. The contents of the stomach provide clues about the health of the current grazing lands. The elders believe that because the goat has been eating local plants and drinking local water, its body is a perfect microcosm of the environment's health, and therefore a predictor of its future. From a modern scientific perspective, it's easy to be skeptical. But this practice is part of a holistic system, often used with other signs: the wind, the stars, bird migrations. Its persistent use for centuries suggests it has proven itself reliable enough to be maintained. And here's where it gets truly fascinating. This ancient practice is now being brought into the world of modern meteorology. The Kenya Meteorological Department, KMD, realized that for forecasts to be effective, they have to be trusted by locals. So they started a program called Participatory Scenario Planning. In these meetings, government meteorologists sit down with traditional indigenous forecasters. The scientists present their satellite data, and then the elders present their findings, sometimes based on entrails. And what they've found is remarkable. More often than not, the two forecasts align. This process validates the indigenous knowledge systems and makes the scientific forecasts more trusted by the pastoralists. This blending of knowledge creates a more robust and culturally relevant forecast that helps the entire community survive. It's a powerful reminder that there are vastly different ways of knowing the world, and that invaluable wisdom can be found in the most unexpected of places. The calendar of life. Plant phenology and seasonal knowledge. Our fourth hack circles back to an idea we touched on earlier, but we're going deeper. It's based on what scientists call phenology, the study of nature's seasonal cycles. But long before that term existed, indigenous cultures were masters of it. They built entire calendars and ways of life around the signals of the plant world, which are far more nuanced than the 4 seasons many of us are taught. Let's return to Australia, where a one-size-fits-all 4-season model just doesn't work. Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples have always known this. Depending on their location, they recognize up to 6 or more distinct seasons, each defined by specific ecological events. Let's visit Yawuru country in Western Australia. The Yawuru people observe a 6-season calendar. Each season is signaled by what the plants and animals are doing. For instance, when the acacia trees flower, they know it's time to go fishing for mullet. The call of the rainbird indicates heavy rain is coming. It's a finely tuned system for survival. The bloom of a flower tells you what to eat, where to hunt, and what weather to expect. Think about that worldview. Our calendar is an abstract grid we impose on the year. Their calendar arises organically from the land itself. The land tells them what season it is. This deep knowledge extends across the globe. In Central America, the inheritors of the ancient Maya civilization practice a sophisticated agricultural system known as the milpa. It's not just a cornfield, it's a polycultural system where maize, beans, and squash, the 3 sisters, are grown together in a resilient ecosystem. The entire system is intertwined with weather forecasting. Ancient Maya priests would observe Venus and the Pleiades to predict the rainy season. But on the ground, farmers also relied on phenology. The date of the first summer rain determines which type of corn they plant, setting off a cascade of decisions for the rest of the season. Today, as climate change makes rainfall more irregular, modern Maya farmers are drawing on this traditional knowledge to find new strategies for resilience. This hack teaches us the importance of local observation. A standardized calendar is useful, but it can blind us to the vital rhythms of our own backyards. You can practice this yourself. Start a nature journal. When do the first buds appear on your street? When do you first hear the cicadas? By simply paying attention, you begin to reconstruct your own local living calendar. You start to practice a science that is thousands of years old. The human network, triangulation, and community knowledge. For our final hack, we're moving from a single indicator to a system of people. This is perhaps the most sophisticated hack of all. It's the understanding that no single piece of information is foolproof. The most reliable forecast comes from gathering multiple streams of data and verifying them through a trusted community network. It's a process of triangulation, perfected by the Afar pastoralists of Ethiopia. The Afar people live in one of the most challenging environments on Earth. Mobility is life, and a bad decision can be catastrophic. Their survival depends on having the most accurate, up-to-date information about a vast territory. They achieve this through an incredible information system built on 3 institutions: the Edo, the Dagu, and the Ada. First, the Edo. These are experienced rangeland scouts sent on missions to assess faraway areas. They are experts in reading the land using all the indicators we've discussed: plants, wildlife, wind, and the feel of the air. They are the frontline data collectors. But that information is useless if it isn't shared. That's where the Dagu comes in. The Dagu is a social obligation that when 2 Afar people meet, they must exchange detailed information. It's a structured debriefing on pasture conditions, water sources, security, and the weather forecast. Think of it as an ancient, human-powered, encrypted internet. So, information is gathered by the Edo and spread through the Dagu. But the next step is crucial. No single report is ever taken at face value. This is where the Ada, a council of elders, plays its role. They are the central processing unit. They receive all the information from the Dagu network, analyze it, debate it, and triangulate it. They take a report from a scout in the east, another from a herder in the west, consider celestial observations, and maybe even the modern forecast on the radio. They look for consensus before making a collective decision for the community: when to move and where to go. This process is remarkably similar to modern meteorology, which also collects data from multiple sources to find a consensus forecast. The Afar developed a parallel system using people instead of machines. This incredible system is also being integrated with modern science. Aid organizations provide Afar communities with conventional weather data. This new data doesn't replace their system, it's simply fed into it. The Ada elders now triangulate the modern forecast alongside their own, creating a hybrid system that is more powerful than either one on its own. This final hack is a powerful lesson. In our world, we often rely on a single source of information: our phone app. The Afar system reminds us of the power of community intelligence and the wisdom of cross-referencing what we think we know. So, there you have it. 5 incredible indigenous weather hacks that are just as relevant today as they were thousands of years ago. We've gone from listening to ants in the Australian outback to decoding the celestial clock in Ethiopia. We've seen how reading goat entrails in Kenya is being validated by modern science, and how living calendars guide life from Australia to Central America. And finally, we've seen the genius of the Afar's Human Intelligence Network. What do all of these have in common? They are all born from a deep, multi-generational attention to the natural world, a level of observation we've nearly lost. Our ancestors didn't have supercomputers, but they had something just as powerful: an intimate connection to their environment. They understood the world as a living system of infinite connections, constantly communicating. These techniques are more than just clever survival tricks. They are a testament to the resilience of indigenous knowledge. In an era of rapid climate change, this ancient wisdom offers us not just practical tools, but a profound shift in perspective. It teaches us to be humble, to be observant, and to recognize that valuable knowledge exists outside of labs and universities. So the challenge to you is this: step outside and start observing. Learn the names of the trees on your street. Watch the clouds. Pay attention to the birds. Start rebuilding that connection that our ancestors never lost. You might be surprised at what the world has been trying to tell you all along. Now, I want to turn it over to you. What do you think is the most fascinating part of this ancient knowledge? Do you know of any other local weather prediction methods from your part of the world? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's create our own community network of wisdom right here.